Hi. I'm back for another interesting video. So this video is a 5 Alive. However, because I have not been on here in 2 weeks, then that means we're going to do the Fab-15. That's right. It's going to be 15 stories that I highlight very quickly with minimal. I'm going to try to not give a lot of commentary, and the reason why is I want to be able to give attention to each story, and then also highlight the fact that the information that I am presenting during these 5 Alives, the purpose of it is for you to be able to interpret it. This is different from traditional news. When you're watching traditional news, they already filter it for you. They already interpret it for you, and they give it to you with the expectation that you would just and totally agree with what they say with no question. I am pulling out these articles, things that have happened around the world, and presenting those stories to you with the idea that you would filter it through your mind by going to God, by also asking more questions and interpreting these stories for yourself. How does it connect to me, God? Should I be concerned about this? Do I need to pray about this? How does this affect my children? How does this affect my family? How does this affect the future? And so it's going to be very, very important for you to start filtering the information that you see and hear, either on your social media pages as well as on traditional news if you're a news watcher or a newspaper reader. Some of you are, I just can smell the fresh newspaper coming to your door every day because you're that person. So that's okay. I love it. In fact, if I see a paper in front of somebody's house, I'm like, oh goodness, it's like a dying art right now. So just to have a newspaper fresh in your hand and smell those pages. And I say that because I was a person that actually worked where I would produce newspapers. So I'm always an advocate for older things, right? So anyway, go ahead, get your paper, get your subscription for your paper, or you can be like the rest of us and watch it online or on your traditional news. The only thing I'm asking you is, however you get your news, to be sure to filter it, interpret it for yourself. Ask God questions about it. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and try to zoom through these stories. Please pray for me because I like to comment. Okay. Number one is there is a news story about a product, and this is a product alert, and it is called the Smart Ring, and the Smart Ring, or ultrahuman ring, the ultrahuman ring, or Oura. So there's another brand called the Oura, and so you can get these rings at local stores near you. They're going to be out and about soon, and it will be your regular traditional ring, look like your traditional rings, and the goal is for it to track your health. Okay, so that is what it does. It tracks your health, and so it's going to track your every move. It's going to track how long you sleep. It's going to track your breathing rates. I believe it even tracks when you poo. I'm just kidding. I don't know. It probably does. But anyway, go out and get your ring. I'm not marketing for this ring. Actually, I'm telling you that, excuse me, the article actually is marketing big time. It is so much so that it only focuses on being fashionable, the ring being fashionable. You can wear it with this, you can wear it with that. And it doesn't tell you that it doesn't highlight the fact that it is tracking your every single move, that, it is putting you in a space where you can't do anything without it. And so you already have your phone, you already have your iPad, you already have your computer, you have your smart watches and things like that. And so those things, your Fitbits, those things are tracking you as well. Those are called the Internet of Things, if you didn't know that. And the ring itself would be an Internet of Things. It would be put on and utilize to track your health. And some of you already put your health in your phone, but this is going a little bit closer because you can wear this all night, every day, every minute of the day. In fact, the aura, the meaning of the name aura means day and night. And so, time and hour. So that means that it will track you day and night, every hour, on the hour, all the time. So I just want you to keep that in mind. From a therapeutic standpoint, I look at it like it is predictive programming. If you already have your phone that you carry with you all the time, your iPad, your smart devices, your watch, your ring is something that most people don't leave out the house with. They always have it on. Some people sleep with it on, but it can be easily lost. And so that means that your health information would get in the hands of whoever is controlling these rings. So that's something for you to think about from a legal perspective and a privacy perspective. But from the traditional therapeutic perspective, it is a predictive programming, and I believe that it promotes autogenic training. And that training means that you would constantly be okay with all of the things. I'm okay with the phone tracking me. I'm okay with the watch. I'm okay with my iPad tracking me. I'm okay with my car tracking me. I'm okay with this ring tracking me. And then the setup comes. Okay, well, guess what? People are losing their rings, so why don't you just go ahead and get it implanted in your hand? And that way you won't have to worry about if you lose it. At that point, it stops being the Internet of Things and becomes the Internet of Bodies, because you have put it in your body. So your privacy rights, you're going to have to start thinking about what those privacy rights look like. And with that being said, if you want to know more about them privacy rights, get at me, from a legal perspective. So, all right, so that is number one story. Get your smart ring to track your health. And that article will be in the description box, as the other ones will be. All right, now the next one is the White House alcohol czar has given a warning that there may be upcoming guidance that would limit people who drink beer to 2 beers a week. Now, I'm not a beer drinker. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I mean, I used to throw them back, okay? But I'm not in favor of this. Now, I don't have to be a drinker, and I'm not promoting you to go out and, take them back. But this right here is a clear violation of many things. Number one, in this country, there is freedom to drink. Okay, and so the fact that they're giving this guidance on all these things, what kind of stove we have, what type of cars we have, I just feel like it is overreaching. And so this is one of those things. 2 beers a week, okay? Now remember, this summer we had the whole Budweiser issue, and with the beer and them overstepping their boundaries for Pride Week, as well as Target. I am really gonna say that the moment this gets more media attention, that a lot of people who are hardcore beer drinkers will come out, and there will be some backlash about this, because again, it's not about the beer, it's about overstepping the boundaries. You overstep your boundaries with the cars. Now there's an auto strike, and the main reason why they're striking is because the leadership of the company is saying that we need to pull back this money so that way we can honor the commitment that we made for the electric vehicle. So you're not going to pay your workers, you're not going to give them health care, you're not going to give them the appropriate care that they deserve to have quality of life, because you are fulfilling some mandate to have electric vehicles by a certain date. Again, it doesn't make sense to accommodate this climate lie when these same people are all over in jets and flying to the moon every other second. So anyway, if you got a problem with that, get at me, talk to me about the climate lie, and I'll sit down and run some facts to you. I'll run them down. So with that being said, White House alcohol czar is planning on limiting individuals, the people who are drinkers, this only applies to the people who are drinkers, so they will be limited to 2 beers a week. Now I want to get into the next one, that is related, not really related, but it's very listen. Now let me just talk about it. This is going to be number 3. So the number 3 story is California. They have sought to legalize psychedelic mushrooms. Okay, now we already know that California is like the jump off state. All the evil and ignorance starts in California, and then it just trickles all over the country. Let's be real. I love California, and I love the people there, but honestly, it's just kind of, it's, sin and debauchery all day long. They don't follow anything, and this is a clear example of that. So while you have the White House czar, who is limiting beer drinking to wheat and hops, she's limiting beer drinking to 2 beers a week. You have California, who is setting the line and starting a trend of legalizing psychedelic mushrooms. Does that make sense at all? You're going to limit the beers, but you're going to move forward with legalizing psychedelic mushrooms. Now, let me tell you what these mushrooms do. So the mushrooms make you, obviously, they make you high. You're unstable. You cannot function for yourself. Psychedelics, that's what we're talking about. They put you in a hallucination state. You have wild and uncontrollable behavior. You literally cannot control your behavior. You're doing things that you cannot control. In fact, the person who is on psychedelics, they hear, see, smell, and taste and feel things that they're not even there. They smell it, hear it, see it, and it's not even there. Okay? So this is what they want to legalize. These mushrooms, they cause your sense of perception about your surroundings to be distorted, and it affects like how you see things. And I don't know how long it affects people. I mean, I do know that there was a situation that I had, when I was younger, where someone was high and they were on some sort of psychedelic, and you couldn't get this person to even understand their name. Okay, they were seeing and hearing things that was not there. So you can't tell me about legalizing this, okay? But I am telling you that that's what California is moving to do. So California wants to do this. And meanwhile, the White House czar wants to limit your beer drinking. Again, I'm not a fan of beer drinking. And but if you want to drink beer, that's on you. That's between you and God. I'm not saying it's a sin or anything, but I'm just saying, watch what's going on in that White House, because it looks like they want to limit your beer drinking. But it's okay, because you can go and get high off psychedelics, and that's okay. Does that even make sense? That sounds crazy. So the number 4 story is the CDC has quietly removed the adverse effects page on their website that involves the VAERS database, which it was available, though it was, not as frequently updated, I'll say that, and that is not necessarily due to the CDC, but it could have been because of the hospitals, the medical professionals. It was a long, arduous process, so a lot of people just didn't want to keep going with it. They didn't want to keep going with it. So, they put it in as they can. And so if you don't know what the VAERS database is, it's the Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System. And what happens is any vaccine that is given to the public, if there are adverse effects, they should be reported in this system. But I just told you that the process takes hours and is very arduous. So a lot of the medical professionals were just like foregoing that and just letting people, if they found out you had an adverse effect, okay, let me give you some medicine for that. And they weren't reporting it. So it was underreported. Now we have the situation where they're offering boosters to you as early or the new vaccine, the new formula, as late as last week. And now this page, or before that, this page had disappeared. And, you know, honestly, I did go on the website myself to look for it. I had been on there before, and it was easy. You could find it, but now it's to the point where there were so many YouTube videos about how to read the database. There was a 9-page PDF on how to decipher the information. To me, it was a lot of distraction on the CDC's website when it related to the VAERS database, to the point where you just would get exhausted looking for it, when it should be something that you could just directly click, like the fact that they are all over your news waves telling you to get your, but when you want to find out information about it, you can't, because they have overcrowded it with nonsense YouTube pages and PDFs about how to read it. People know how to read it. They're looking for certain conditions. If they see the number, and it's pretty relatively easy if you know, you can look at the numbers and kind of go from there. So they got all this distraction type material, and they have quietly removed it. And as I said in previous videos, people, you know, because of the push, the massive push years back, you definitely want to know what goes into your body, but then also how they were pushing in barbershops, in doctor's offices, pharmacies, on your job, all kind of places. You need to know that the commonalities of the adverse effects for a lot of people is myocarditis, which is heart attack, stroke, paralysis, embryo death, meaning dying outside the womb as well as inside the womb, so miscarriages, lots of different cancers. I mentioned that in the previous videos, like these turbo cancers, so multiple cancers at one time, and then of course deaths, and I'm talking about of all ages, but it is very difficult to see when it is a young child that is like 9 years old that was playing flag football or something, and they just drop dead, and people just go on with their life. In fact, the people are like, we should have had defibrillators. Okay, yeah, you should have had defibrillators, but why? The question, again, because we're interpreting things, is not about the defibrillator that should be there. It is about the fact that a 9-year-old or 16-year-old should not be dropping dead playing basketball. Something is wrong with the picture, and we need to be finding out why. So, as I said, CDC has quietly removed their adverse effects, the VAERS system, the vaccine adverse reporting system, off of their page. And if it's on there, you really got to search hard and high for it. So anyway, it's just something that you need to know. I will have that in the description. And then I would recommend that if you want to know what it looks like, go on their page, and just, if you got about an hour or two, just spend some time and go and look on their page and see how much of a distraction it is with all this stuff that they vomited out and put on there, and why, if it's so easy for them to parrot off all this other stuff, why can't they make it easy for you to click and find out what's going on with that, with any of the vaccines or medications that they are offering. This should be readily available to you. So with that being said, I'm going to move on to, I believe this is number 5. Number 5 is bleach shortage. So I read that there is a bleach, you heard me, like Clorox. There is a Clorox bleach shortage. And so now this is not for you to run out and get bleach. I hope that you already have bleach in your home. If you don't, you might want to do it, because I don't know what this means when they say it's a shortage, and I don't know exactly why they are saying that they're in short supply, because they claim a cyber attack disrupted their operations. Like, again, how does the cyber world affect you making bleach and distributing it and getting it out? Once it's corrected, once the cyber issue is corrected, then you should be able to go ahead and produce that and get those things out there. But there, I just want you to be forewarned that if you look at your supply, your cleaning supplies, and you notice that you are low in Clorox, you might want to shake a leg and get it to the store, because we don't know exactly how long this cyber attack that Clorox experienced will affect the shortage. Like, how long will this shortage be? Where is the shortage? Where are you going to see it most? Some stores might be fully stocked with Clorox and this may not affect them, but in some areas it may affect big time, depending on if they have a lot of cleaners, workers, factories, things like that in the area, businesses in the area. So those are some things that you need to know. But I want to say that it's funny that it's a shortage when, you know, all these viruses are popping up. It's a shortage on bleach, you know. And so I bet that when the bleach finally reappears, that it won't be as effective. It's probably going to be some watered down version that doesn't sanitize anything. Now, I'm not saying that that's true, but it might be. So anyway, number 6, I'm going to move on to number 6. And so this one is a very interesting story in that, you know, scientists have created a way to make babies, and you can do it without a egg, you know, a woman egg, or the male sperm. And so, I mean, we're just really living in a sci-fi time. And I'm not going to give too much commentary about this, but I will say that in Genesis, it was very plain that God created male and female, that the whole idea of having male and female everything, so from humans all the way up to animals, birds, the goal was to produce, to multiply, you know. We have a mandate to have dominion and multiply in this land. And so the fact that these scientists have created a way to make a baby to multiply without an egg or a sperm is really like a sci-fi movie, and it's almost like they're playing God here. And so I just kind of want to leave it there. I will, you know, ask you to take a look at Genesis 1 and 2 and just read it for yourself and get the idea of, like, get it really implanted in your heart in regards to what God's idea is. The first and second books of the Bible, you know, so it has to be important to God that he made humans a certain way. And for you to be able to make a baby without the egg or the sperm, to me, you are moving towards some form of transhumanism. Take a look that up if you don't know what that means. And it will be like some type of computerized sci-fi flick before you know it. So anyway, no sperm or egg is needed to make a baby these days. So go figure. All right, now you probably already know, this is the number 7 story. You probably already know that New Mexico has basically suspended people from being able to carry guns, and they have cited that the reason why is because there is some type of public, you know, emergency. Now, this state is right on the border, and they are getting a lot of people who have just come through there that haven't been checked. They don't know if they have weapons or anything, but you are going to limit your citizens who rightfully went and got a license. You're going to limit their carrying of weapons. You're going to limit their permit. You're going to suspend their permit. You're going to tell them that they can't carry. Now, I know this story was about 2 weeks ago, and she looks like a fool right now because people are certainly carrying their weapons. The sheriff is not even enforcing this foolishness. And a part of the reason why, from a legal perspective, is it's so illegal. It's illegal. And she had the audacity and the nerve to say that the Second Amendment, the Constitution in itself, these are not guaranteed rights. And I'm thinking, where have you been, lady? You must be crazy if you think that we have been in this country for all this time and you're going to water down our rights. I don't care what right it is. You will not water it down. And let me say this, for somebody who says that they don't have a problem with her taking a Second Amendment right, which is a gun, their right to bear arms, away from them. Well, if she's going to change the Second Amendment, what if she decides to change the 14th? What if she tries to, you know, change voting rights? What if she tries to change rights about slavery. Look, we don't want any person, I don't care what color they are, what state they're in, to be going all willy-nilly watering down constitutional rights that have been in existence since this country existed, okay? Like, since it became a country, all right? No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to allow that. And so I'm standing with those people in New Mexico who are like, no, go sit down. And so I do think that that's what she needs to do. And I think that she really has egg on her face right now, because no person is enforcing this. She's the only dum-dum that's out there that's trying to start a trend of that the Second Amendment is not going to be effective because it's an emergency, public emergency. Well, if you created the public emergency, you created the public emergency because you didn't do anything about the crime that you're having and the violence anyway. So do something about that and don't let it get out of control for it to be a public emergency. So anyway, I'm just gonna say that that's illegal. And if you hear that, one other thing I want to say, they tried this in Virginia. They tried this in the state of Virginia, and the governor is no longer the governor anymore. That governor, I'll just put it like that, is no longer the governor. He shouldn't govern, people buying shoes at Ladies Foot Locker, and we know all of those went out of business. So he shouldn't even be there. Okay, he shouldn't be governing anything. All right, and I'm glad that he's out of there. He's been out of there. And so that was some years ago. And since then, of course, Virginia is not playing that, as far as I know, with trying to take the rights of their citizens and tell the people to their face that their Second Amendment rights are not guaranteed. The constitutional rights are not guaranteed. That's what this lady said. All right, so people in New Mexico, when it's time to vote, or even before then, do not vote for her. She has to go. I think I'm on my number 8 story, because I kind of went out of order because I wanted to link the whole psychedelic story to, so yeah, a little bit out of order. Number 8. Okay, so number 8 story is, if you haven't noticed, the gas for your vehicle has gone up, and it will continue to go up. And so and this happened last week, right? So again, I'm 2 weeks late. You probably have already seen this. I'm going to make the connection and link. This part is going to be called, you are going to pay a lot in gas or have no gas at all. Okay, so I got stories within stories here. So we got this current presidential administration has stopped the gas transport of trains. So if gas, which for years and years and years, gas has been transported by train all over this country, that is how it is, one way that it is transported or received in different states. Well, that has been stopped. Okay, so that is something that I wanted to let you know. I don't know if you know that, and that will add to why gas will increase, because how is it going to be transported? So then also connected to that is the same administration decided that they would tell the state of Alaska that they are banned from oil and gas drilling leases. So that means that there is a ban on oil and gas drilling leases in the state of Alaska. So what is that going to do? And that is they are a big producer of drilling. If you ban their leases, how does that affect those leases that they already have in place, or the leases that they were negotiating? I would venture to say that it is going to affect the price of the gas that is already out there or available to us. Okay, and then the next story that is connected to that is the United Nations, and I've talked a little bit about the United Nations in the past on these videos. They had a G20. They participated in the G20, and so they have warned that unless the fossil fuel, the gas, is phased out, that the world will miss the climate target. Okay, so let me just walk through this. The UN came out and said at the G20 that if we do not, the world does not stop using fossil fuel gas, if we don't phase it out, if we don't stop using it, that the whole entire world will miss the climate target. Now, this goes back to the climate lie that they continue to spout out. That is not true. And this actually, how did they all get there? They didn't zoom in their head to where this G20 was. They literally flew there. So if they fly and they drive, they can do everything that they don't want you to do. And so I will leave the commentary for that and just get to the facts. They have said that they are warning that if it's not gas, it's not phased out, that the world will miss the target goal. At the same time, you have this current administration that has stopped the transport of gas, fossil fuels on trains. At the same time, you have the same administration that has banned a oil and gas lease in Alaska. So I'm just going to leave it there and hope that you are able to interpret exactly what is happening here. There is a phasing out of your gas, and when it happens, you are going to spend more in your gas in your home, as well as, so that's heating your house, as well as the gas in your car and wherever else. When you are on the lawnmower, whatever you are doing, whatever you need gas for, you're going to spend a lot because they are phasing it out, and they're telling you the reason why, the lie in regards to why they're phasing it out. So climate change. Number 9 story, there is more money that is going to Ukraine, that has gone to Ukraine. When I first did this 2 weeks ago, when I first pulled this article, which is 2 weeks old, they were giving billions of dollars to Ukraine. Okay, that was 2 weeks ago. They, as in this country, giving your taxpaying dollars. If you work and you're not sitting up doing nothing, your taxpaying dollars goes to, billions of them go to Ukraine and have gone to Ukraine 2 weeks ago. Well, you're so lucky that this week the president of Ukraine is going to shake it fast in Congress this week for more of your billions of hard earned money. So he's going to make a visit here. He's going to shake it and bake it right in front of Congress again, bojangle around as he did before in front of the Congress, both the House as well as the representatives, and meet with the current administration. He's going to bojangle around, and they're going to beg them to give more of your money to Ukraine again, because we can't back out of it now. We shouldn't be in it. Let's start there. Should not be in this. We should not. They're not America. This is not our country, and we have big things happening in this country. We need to be protected in this country, and we don't have full protection. So with that being said, you may not agree with me. You might be one of those individuals that disagree, and you have your opinion, but I do think that they're not a part of this country. If you wanted to contribute in the beginning or at some point, you can do that, but not you funding this with our money when we as a country are in need. I am not in disagreement with I am not in agreement with that. I am in full disagreement of that. And if you take a look around, since all of this has happened the past 2 years, you've seen more homeless, you've seen more crime, you've seen so many things occur in this country. We are in need here in this country. And so who is going to help us? That's always the question. Now, we know that the Lord helps us. For those individuals, God helps us, the believers. He makes sure that, there's nothing that we need. He supplies all of our every need. But this country needs to stand on Christian principles, and we're not doing that. And so what is happening is all of the money is being drained out, and it's going to other countries, and I don't think it is right. So take a look at the article that shows that billions of dollars went to Ukraine 2 weeks ago, and keep your eye out on the news for the president of Ukraine to bojangle around, meaning that he will huck and jive or dance and in front of Congress to beg them for money and tell them that we should be giving billions and billions of dollars forever to Ukraine to keep this going. No. All right, that's my opinion. All right, so the number 10 story, number 10 is California. Again, here we go with California. They're just yes. Goodness. Okay. So California, they will pay the illegal aliens, those individuals who have come into the country unauthorized, not following the procedures in which have been set for years and years and years, they will pay those individuals $300 monthly to live there in California. So again, here we go with throwing away money when you should be using the $300 to send them back to their country and have them start over. If you want to come here, let's walk you through how to come here correctly. But nope, you're gonna give them $300 to stay. And so I believe that there are more states that are going to follow suit, because I said this before, that California, they set the trend for a lot of illegal things that occur, and really nonsensical things and evil things that happen. They literally start, and I'm praying for them. I do believe that the Lord has a great remnant there, and I know that to be true. And so we are joining that remnant and asking God for a cleansing for California, so that they really modify and change the heart and start doing things the right way. So with this said, they are going to take your hard-earned money if you live in California, and they're going to give your hard-earned money to illegal aliens that are there. So these are illegal immigrants who have been have come to the country in a way that has not been authorized, and they will be giving them $300 to remain in California. Who's not gonna remain? I mean, giving them $300 a month. And I know someone is gonna watch and say, well, $300 is nothing. Well, that's true. It's not. If that's the case, then I'll put my address in the description, and you can send me $300 a month, since it's nothing. $300 of your hard-earned money, send that to me, just because I want to live where I want to live. All right. So do that. So anyway, I just think it's wrong, and it's setting a precedent for other states to do the same thing, to take your money. And if you voted for that to happen, then fine. But if you did not vote with that in mind, your money going towards that, I don't think it should. Okay. So you should be contacting your House of Representatives as well as your senators about these things that are happening that you disapprove of. That's a recommendation. You should always be going to God in prayer. The number 11 story, and I don't have 11 fingers, so I'm just going to say the word 11. So with that being said, this is such a great story. And this happened last week. There is a Saints player by the name of DeMar Davis, and the Saints won. They were playing the Titans, I believe, and the news wanted to interview him, and as they do, they want to get your feedback in regards to the game and how you played, and how the team went, and how the team played. And so he gave a full-blown testimony and gave scriptures and everything. I mean, he took them to church. And so I thought it was beautiful. Part of that is a lot of celebrities and athletes get pigeonholed, and they are put in a situation where they don't get the opportunity to share their faith often. And so he didn't get an opportunity. He took the opportunity to share his faith and to talk about his family, his wife and his daughter. And so I would love, if you have not seen that, for you to take a look at it. It is really a good testimony. It's a good story. And all a testimony is someone telling what is true and how he reigned in their life for a particular situation. And so and DeMar Davis, he did that. And it shows also that these athletes are human, and they're the humanity of the athlete versus the player, and the fact that he can be stern on his faith and show his faith publicly. So I hope that there is more of that genuine showing of faith for individuals. I really do. So that is the number 11 story. The number 12 story is the Bank of International Settlements will be moving forward with the digital currency. Now, you probably are like, who are they? I don't know. You probably don't know, but those are the Bank of International Settlements are the bank of all banks, and they control money all over the world and how money is transacted. And then when they say that they're moving towards anything, then the other countries, they basically have to follow suit. And so this Bank of International Settlements has said that they are moving very soon to a digital currency. And that means that if you don't know what that is, you need to start doing your research. All right, so I'm gonna leave that there and tell you that when they say something, other countries move. And so if they're moving forward with digital currency, and if you don't know what that is, it's time for you to educate yourself on that. All right, the number, this is, I want to say it's 12, 13. I don't know where I am. I don't know. I'm just going to keep going. I'm not even going to say numbers anymore, but just know this is the Fab-15, okay? So the next story is Mexico says that they saw some UFOs. Now, this whole UFO thing is getting out of control. And, you know, when I hear that some country or some person has seen a UFO, and I automatically know that they are channeling, not that person, but somebody in the area is channeling some demonic spirits, and they are seeing demonic spirits. And so of course, you know, you want to be the country or the person that sights a UFO. Again, that makes you popular and gets you on TV. And so Mexico has said that they saw a UFO. Unfortunately, the American government doesn't believe them. And so they are questioning the truth and veracity of Mexico's sighting that they saw a UFO. So I thought that was very funny. Now, Americans can see UFOs. They can spot UFOs all over. But when another country does it, no, no, no. You don't have the right to see demonic forces. Only Americans. Okay. Don't race to see a UFO. Okay. No. All right, next story, because I'm just saying next story. This is the Fab-15. I don't know the number. I got all off. I want to say that this is number 13. This is number 13 for real. This is number 13, really. The next story is a train that was carrying chemicals exploded. Now, I know for a fact that you haven't seen this or heard this on the news, and because we don't hear about all these colliding trains anymore or these exploding trains, but a train that was carrying chemicals exploded. And so that is going to be in the description. And I say that I'm smiling, but the reality is that we should know about a train that was carrying explosives that exploded, chemicals that exploded. We should know about that as we should know. And I remember reporting a story to you that there was a train that was carrying explosives in the train, and it was hazardous things that could cause death, and it was missing. Again, we still don't know where that train is. Like, it was missing, still is missing, and we don't know where it is. Right, so it's all these things that's happening with the trains. Meanwhile, the train that's carrying gas has been halted. There's no more carrying gas on trains, but you can't transport the gas, but the explosives are happening, and I don't know if it's connected or what's happening. So anyway, you should know that if you hadn't heard that already. Number 14, okay. So this happened, it started happening where we started getting information about it on a couple of weeks ago, and now it's full blown. So the U.S. has paid $6 billion for 5 prisoners to Iran, and that's a lot of money for Iran, right? When they already had a situation with like some gas a couple of weeks ago where the Americans like came in, came into a deal between Iran and China, and then now they are giving them $6 billion of your tax-paying money. But again, got to follow the money here. What is the reason for this? These 6 prisoners, we don't know anything about them. If you take a look at their faces, you probably never heard of them, and there's really no explanation as to why $6 billion would be going towards them. And it's your money, so you need to know where your money is going, and you need to be okay with your money just going everywhere, okay? But then when you need it, or when your state needs it, then you don't have it. You know, ask those people that are in Maui, or have they been supported? When they need it, no, they don't. In fact, more money has gone to Ukraine than there. Okay, so you're paying your tax-paying dollars in order to be supported when you need it. All right, the very last story, I promise, is now I had told you all about the movie The Sound of Freedom, and that movie was a great movie. It was like #1 at the box office for weeks in the theaters when people are not really even going to the theater. And so it was about sex trafficking of young children. And so the main character in the movie was Tim Ballard, and he was a government agent that basically went and rescued kids. Beautifully written movie, some hardcore truths. A lot of the stars did not want you to see it. They didn't like you seeing it. They downed the movie, even though they, you know, possibly had not seen it. And there were reasons why they downed the movie. I believe a lot of them had negative comments because they are actually pedophiles and they're doing these things. And so now, since the movie has been a great success, they have found someone to lie, and I'm going to say it's a lie. I don't know anything about this Tim Ballard guy other than he was the subject of this movie, but I think it's very suspicious that one of the highest grossing movies of this year, now they have and they were shining the light on sex trafficking. Now they have someone who is coming out saying that this guy is accused of sexual misconduct. So that's kind of like the playbook that happens when they don't like what you do, or they don't like you, then they say that you're you have some sexual deviance. They everything that you despise, then they will put it on you. So everything that you're trying to fight against, then they would literally say that you did that in the goal. And they have said this in numerous videos. In fact, I watched a video of Nancy Pelosi saying out of the playbook of what they do. So they would disparage your character, and then they would let the media go ahead and run with the story and do it. And that's exactly what's happening here. I think that Tim Ballard has peed some people off. I think that the movie is really good and is shining the light on human trafficking and sex trafficking of young children. I think that it got more attention than they thought it would. I think that people are starting to look real deep at a lot of these people, and they're being exposed, and they will be exposed. And I think they're getting desperate because the light has been shined upon them. And I know that they were desperate during the movie because they were trying to cancel ticket sales, and they were promoting that horrible Barbie movie and just doing all kind of crazy things so that the world would not see this Sound of Freedom. But I am going to sound the alarm and tell you, if you haven't gone to see the movie, go see the movie. Sound of Freedom, go see it. Sound of Freedom, go check it out. And because they're getting desperate, and they now are attacking this man who was the subject of the movie. And I smell lying, and I smell some people desperate to try to disparage this man's character. That's what I smell, and that's what I sense that's happening here. So go ahead and support children by finding out exactly what is going on in this country, the #1 country for sex trafficking, and find out how you would be able to stop that. Okay, so with that being said, that is all for this episode and this video. I do want to point you to a scripture And in that scripture, it is Proverbs. It's the last thing, I promise, because this video is long. It's Proverbs 19, and it is verse 8, and it says, he who gets wisdom loves his own soul. He who keeps understanding will find good. So to me, that means that your wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding is connected together. So if you have knowledge and you have wisdom, then that's connected to your understanding, which is connected to you doing good. And the opposite is true. If you don't have knowledge, if you don't have understanding, then you may be quick to do evil. And you can take a look at Proverbs 19 verse 2 in order to see the opposite of verse 8. So with that being said, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.